So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thanks for watching this video blog. I'm currently in a part of the world that is almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I've been reading some reports and reviewing a case regarding an American citizen that is being held in Ukraine for exposing corruption within the Ukrainian government. As many of you know, the U.S. is the primary funder to Ukraine. We've sent over, quite a bit of money to Ukraine as taxpayers, billions worth, and they're pretty much keeping an American citizen, a U.S. taxpayer, in jail for checking their system, checking how they operate, checking how efficient they are as a government and leadership in Ukraine. Crazy. Never heard of anything like this ever happening before, when American taxpayers are funding a country that requested assistance from us. They requested assistance from the American people, from our government, and we have answered the call that they requested from us. And yet, they're holding an American citizen, a U.S. citizen, in their jail for reviewing how they operate as a country, as a government. Okay, and Ukraine actually was in, the Ukrainian president was actually in Washington, D.C. He was rubbing shoulders with senators, congressmen, and even the president while he visited the U.S. in Washington, D.C. And there was no talks about the American prisoner being released during that visit. Something just simply does not, pan well regarding this whole issue. Specifically, if we're giving Ukraine billions of aid, With that said, I hope you guys would consider sharing this video and having your senators, congressmen, and elected public officials to look into this situation. Okay, July 4th just passed, and everybody's fine and dandy. They're enjoying themselves, while an American citizen that went to Ukraine to monitor and observe what's really happening in terms of how the government is operating in Ukraine and what American taxpayers ought to know about the government. Okay, it's pretty telling when, the U.S. media, national media, okay, of all, institutions, would silence a story like this. I just come across this, information recently off of another news agency that is not a U.S.-based U.S. agency. So I went and did my research, and lo and behold, it was real, and very few Americans knows about it. With that being said, folks, let's stay vigilant. Let's really, drill down on everything that's been going on in this part of the world and here in Europe, and monitor how our U.S. tax dollars are being spent, utilized, and basically working against us. Okay, I've never heard of a country that is holding an American citizen hostage for checking them, for reviewing their ways of doing things, for their management, for their overall operations. I've just never heard of that, and yet we're sending them billions and billions of dollars. We appropriated quite a bit of money for the next 9 years to be heading to Ukraine. And some of those money are even unaccounted for. No one can figure out where they went or how to even account for them. So something simply doesn't, jive with all these issues within Ukraine, and how, the U.S. government still haven't even paused support to Ukraine until that American citizen who went and checked, Ukraine and the way that they operate is released, and a public apology to his family has been, provided by the Ukrainian government. Well, basically, this is a big slap to the face of the American people by the Ukrainians that we are funding. Okay? Out of all the countries on this planet, not even their neighbors in Europe have doled out the amount of money that we're contributing to Ukraine. Okay, nothing but friendship and accolades and support have we provided Ukraine and their government, and this is how they repay American taxpayers. This is how they say thank you. Guess what, folks? I've been through a lot of countries, and I've been through a lot of crazy, events and activities on this planet, but never, ever, in my wildest dreams, would I envision that people that we're supporting, we're providing money out of our pockets, out of our taxes, would do us like this. We're getting played big time, and very few people appreciate what's going on because they're simply not aware of it. And here comes an American going out of his way to provide information to Americans and to the world. Okay, and the same people that took his taxes, this guy is a taxpayer, and his money went to Ukraine, and they are holding him in jail. Okay, so, something simply does not add up. Don't take my word for it. Look up Gonzalo Lira. Okay, he has a YouTube channel, and I believe if you Google search his name, Gonzalo Lira, you will be able to find out the whole case either via social media platform or third-party foreign news agency, because there isn't any US-based national news that gave him the time or consideration to share his bravery, to share his compassion, to share his story. Okay, because something is happening behind closed doors that the American taxpayers are not aware of. 3 years ago, when I ran for the US Senate as an independent, I was not even given the opportunity to debate my competitors. Okay, and that was during a pandemic. They had debates virtually going on, and yet I was not invited to debate my opponents. Okay, we weren't able to congregate, obviously, because of the lockdown, but they didn't give me an opportunity to voice my concern, to provide solutions, and to support a more productive, more inclusive, and more efficient America. Okay? Something is going on. And now that we live in a social media world environment where the truth will eventually manifest itself. It might not happen instantly because these social media platforms are still governed and monitored by special interest groups that owns these platforms. But eventually the truth will basically surface and people would know what really went down between the US and Ukraine. Okay. I mean, think about it. If countries, okay, neighboring countries, European countries of Ukraine aren't even interested in leading the charge, okay, to help out their neighbor, there's something going on that they know that most Americans don't know about, okay? And maybe, I'm just saying maybe, just an educated guess, a hypothesis, that we're being played as Americans. And enough is enough, okay? They've had their fun. It's time for Americans to wake up. It's time for Americans to question. It's time for Americans to ask our elected representatives what is going on, give us an answer, provide a plan on how to recover those tax dollars that was sent to Ukraine, and it will continue on to be sent to Ukraine in the next 9 years. Okay, something is up, and wake up, America, because it's your money, it's on the line. It's the overall generation of Americans that will pay for this money that's been earmarked for Ukraine. Okay, and the way that they are thanking us is by imprisoning an American, a concerned citizen, about how his taxpayer is being utilized. I mean, that in itself is a critical indicator of the type of government and people you're dealing with. Is if when you're helping them, they persecute you for questioning them, for wanting to know why things are going down the way that they're going down. Okay? I'm very compassionate for those victimized and those affected because of this war, but I do not sympathize at all with corrupt governments and corrupt government officials. I know what it's like to deal with corruption. On my own campaign, the U.S. national media did not cover an ounce of my campaign. Okay? And the people within my state did not raise red flags for not allowing me to, compete, to debate, right? During a pandemic. Okay, so I know what it's like to be stonewalled, okay, to be singled out, and I feel for that gentleman sitting in a Ukrainian jail whose taxes, okay, was sent to Ukraine by the same politicians that won't take him out of that prison, okay, and giving the Ukrainian president a state class ceremony in Washington, D.C. That in itself is a major slap to an American, to a U.S. taxpayer. I don't care if you believe in, whichever party you belong in, Republican, Democrat, Independent. Doesn't matter. When an American citizen is dealt with that way, when an American citizen is openly, okay, and maliciously and indiscriminately, okay, oppressed in a foreign country for a simple fact that he is interested in knowing how the U.S. government and his tax dollars is being utilized, or in this case, is being played. So, because I think we are being played. So, think about it, folks. I mean, comment on the description of, comment down in the description section of this video blog. Let me know if you have any suggestions, concerns, or anything that you would like for me to cover on my next video blog. But I am extremely concerned, you know, and I don't typically jump into these kinds of conversations because I'm more interested in developing countries. I'm more interested in economic development and providing a solution and creating jobs around the world, you know, in partnership with people that are friends, that are U.S. allies, that people that we actually trust. But when an American citizen going overseas trying to understand what's going on, okay, in a country that he believes should be checked, a government that should be reviewed, then that raises flags. You know, if that person, if that American is persecuted for wanting to know the truth. With that said, folks, thanks for watching. Please share and subscribe to our channel as we continue to monitor the situation of Mr. Gonzalo Lira and his family. He's got an aging father, 80-some years old, and I would like to know when he's going to be walking out of that jail, because, you know, when people try to silence the truth, that means something sinister, something evil, and most likely corrupt is happening without the public knowing. Okay, folks, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.